FitLabPGH is a Pittsburgh-based podcast and promoter of the ethos movement as a lifestyle, not just an activity. Together with our Labradors, we do movement tip and lifestyle hacks, and occasionally we do a video podcast like today. Our video podcast today is just going over briefly what we carry on a 1 to 3 hour hike in the winter. Obviously, we let people know where we're going, and we bring a cell phone and maps, but sometimes you don't have cell coverage and you want to make sure if something does happen, you can get back safely. And when we say something happening, notice how well-behaved Maggie is. We mean either the two-legged people or the four-legged dogs. So always carry fluids. These happen to be two different sizes of insulated bottles. You can also use a hydration bladder, but we use insulated bottles in the winter to make sure it doesn't freeze, because if it's frozen, you can't drink it. The other tip is sometimes you put hot tea in, maybe hot tea sweetened with maple syrup or honey, and that gives you a little extra boost. Snacks depend on what looks good, but what I have in my pack, this is a pack from MHM. This is a company out of Colorado, very comfortable. It's about 25 liters, which is a good size for me. I always have in my packs about 600 calories of energy drinks, and I don't use gels, I use baby food. So if you're wondering what the weird things are, you can get real fruit, baby food, tastes good, got little vegetables. I also carry a binocular because you never know when you might see a bird or something really cool. If the terrain is going to be slippery, I'll throw in a single hiking pole that folds up because it gives me an extra base of support, so I become a tripod rather than a bipod. Puddin' and Maggie, of course, don't need that because they've got quadrupods. I've mentioned before an extra set of gloves. When my hands get warm, I take off the heavier gloves. I always have a pair of wool gloves. I also carry a variety of other things. Again, the goal is if something happens to be safe. So it's in the winter, we take the stick away from Puddin'. And we look at what's in the main body of the pack. I always have some sort of a waterproof fleece jacket that folds up. I have a first aid kit for humans. In here is a space blanket and a first aid kit for dogs. It's got a couple of extra things. It's probably a little bit of overkill. This is from a company called Vessel, VSSL. It's a flashlight, it's a compass, and it's got some emergency stuff in it that all packs into this. Check them out. This is something I got when Emma was still alive, the chocolate lab who had epilepsy. It is a Phyto Pro Airlift. Essentially what it is, it's a backpack that allows me to carry a dog across my hips in case something happens and they can't walk out. Knock on wood, haven't had to use it yet, but in case I do, I can make sure Puddin' or Maggie get home safely. Gracie, of course, stays at home. The final thing I take for the dogs is I take something that's got a couple sets of dog boots in it in case they tear a dew claw or tear a claw or a pad. It's also got an extra leash in there just in case something happens. Anytime I go outside, if I'm going away, I carry a whistle. And then the final things that are important to consider a variety of hats, buffs, and a spare pair of socks, because you never know when you're going to need an extra pair of those. And then there's a final bag or pack area here. And what I have here, three things that I carry a knife, I carry a spare set of glasses, you never know when you might need that, and then a pair of small handheld loppers in case I get hung up in bushes or brush, or in case the dogs do. The whole idea behind all this is be able to stay outside, be safe, and most importantly, get home safely. Gracie, Puddin', and Maggie, as well as Mia, all agree that movement is a lifestyle, not just an activity.